But let's talk about this breaking news, man. This is huge. The election is not over. From Al Jazeera, Trump campaign challenges over 100,000 votes in Georgia. New lawsuit is latest in long line of Trump challenges to U.S. election results, most of which have been thrown out. President Donald Trump's campaign filed another lawsuit seeking to overturn the United States election results. The campaign announced Friday, this time contesting more than 100,000 votes in the state of Georgia. The new lawsuit filed by the Trump campaign and Georgia's Republican Party alleges that massive irregularities, mistakes, and potential fraud took place in the state. Now, you know what I really, really love about this latest lawsuit? When the Republican Party is in it with Trump and they're saying, yes, look at all of these problems. And then when Giuliani drops an actual video and there's a lawyer, an attorney saying, look at this video of people pulling ballot boxes out from under a table after they told everyone to leave and then counting tens of thousands of votes into 1 a.m. with no observers present, Georgia's GOP Secretary of State says he has already investigated bombshell video Rudy Giuliani claims prove voting fraud and says it shows nothing out of the ordinary. You mean really? To tell me that once everyone leaves, they immediately scuttle over and pull boxes out from under tables and then start counting them until 1 a.m.? And that's normal?
I want to know what's ordinary.
Yeah,
in the first place. But Giuliani is calling this the smoking gun and the bank heist video. I mean, you could make a lot of interpretations, but I hope the person in the video is set to testify. I hope she's under oath, and I hope we find out what happened with that USB that was clutched and what else happened.
That's not in the story, but people have been posting a video that shows a woman with blonde braids. They say it's the same person. I'll be very careful because I don't know what this video is. But you see this woman, she's sitting talking to someone, and then she palms a USB stick and then clutches it, and the camera's like zoomed in, and she stands up and then like slides it in her pocket. There are other videos of people doing this. For what reason are they putting USB sticks into like voting terminals at these polling locations and then pocketing them and walking out? Because you'd think if it was something routine, they'd walk right up and pull the stick and put it in there and talk to people and then take it out, look at it, and, put it away. But they're like palming it, like trying to hide it. So I don't know who that lady is in that video. I can only assume they're saying it's the same person, but that is crazy. It's crazy to me is that's the kind of evidence that you get Bill Barr saying there's no evidence we've seen to date that, would have changed outcome of the election. Yeah, watching someone stick a USB stick in a machine and then pull it out isn't proof that the election was, flipped. But it is evidence that somebody broke the law. You just can't say they changed the results of the election.
He also said so far. So we're still
to
waiting.
Date.
Yeah, to date. So we're still waiting for the exact information. It's important not to jump to conclusions, but with these important events, it's important to pay attention to them and hope that it goes through the right legal process where people could actually get the right information and find out more under oath exactly what happened here. Because, I mean, a lot of people in the mainstream media are saying, enough, let's stop asking questions. It's already done. We have the president-elect. But if we could have 4 years of absolute Russian collusion madness, I think we could allow a few weeks to ask some serious questions about our elections, which, by the way, all the mainstream media pundits telling you to trust the election results were just telling you not to trust it months ago, especially John Oliver on his HBO show, who actually did a pretty good job about Dominion voting machines and the entire problem with electronic voting machines last year. And now
he's denying it.
Now he's
like,
saying,
nope.
If you're questioning the elections, you're part of I think he said a fascistic government, or you're crazy if you're questioning this year's elections. I don't know his exact quote, so I don't want to misquote him. But he's on the complete other spectrum where he was a year ago, providing pretty good solid evidence, pretty good questions, pretty good evidence laid out in front of us, saying that there are some legitimate questions that should be asked about the integrity of our elections.
I watched this video that they put out, where you can see them pulling out a box from under a table. There's a website called Lead Stories, which has defamed me and published fake news about me. So I had a tweet about Epstein and about Bill Clinton being in flight logs and, witness IDing him. And they took that tweet, called it fake news, but then wrote their fact check, which basically confirmed everything. It's just like it's a scam. They say, here's the article, here's the truth, and they don't care what you actually said. They just want to make sure that on Facebook, people who see it, it says fake news. So they fact-checked this story about Giuliani, and they say, it's fake news. It was legal ballot counting. Nothing to see here. Why? Well, they asked someone, and that someone said, don't worry, everything's fine. That explains it. Case closed. But here's the best part. One of the quotes they have, this is what the person says. They say, Francis Watson, chief investigator for the Georgia Secretary of State. Yes, the GOP, who said that we've already looked into it, nothing to see here, told Lead Stories during a phone call on December 3rd that the ballots were in standard containers. No one's disputing that. And the work during the time in question had nothing to do with pulling ballots from under the table, she said. Quote, there wasn't a bin that had ballots in it under the table. So what did we see them pull out from under the table that was a ballot box full of ballots and then start counting?
It was an empty bin?
She says, it was an empty bin and the ballots from it were actually out on the table when the media were still there. And then it was placed back into the box when the media were still there and placed next to the table. There's a video you can watch where a woman with braids walks up to a group of people, then those people all leave, then they walk over to the table, pull a box out from under the table, 4 boxes. They do it multiple times. And this person who's debunking this says it was placed next to the table. You can literally watch the video where it's not next to the table. This is not a real fact check.
Did Giuliani actually say it was proof? I think the headline said that he said it was proof.
He's saying it's the smoking gun.
So
the bank heist video.
He didn't say evidence. He said proof.
He tweeted, election in Georgia is now proven to be a fraud. Then he tweeted again, the videotape doesn't lie. Fulton County Democrats stole the election. It's now beyond doubt. Go to the tape. Smoking gun from Georgia.
I think he's destroying his credibility by throwing the word proof around so haphazardly. Because that might be evidence, but it's definitely not proof. Some video.
It's the hardest evidence we have so far.
Yeah.
But there was a document that was going around showing the vote tabulations in real time. There's been a whole bunch of analysis around this. Now, in one of these data dumps, it was at, I think, like 12:34 a.m., and this is from the New York Times. The New York Times data release on the election night. So it's November 4th, 12:34 a.m. Around 23,900 or so ballots came in, and 98% were for Joe Biden. Now people are seeing this video and going back to those articles and those analyses saying, wait a minute. On this day in Georgia at 12:34 a.m., we know they stopped counting at 1 a.m. That means you've got 4 ballot boxes, which you can see in the video, each estimated to contain 6,000 votes, 24,000 votes. Now people are going back to the previous data and saying 98% for Joe Biden. That looks like they're tabulating those ballot boxes they pulled from under the table. So is it proof? Is it the smoking gun? I think if you went to a regular person and showed them that video, they'd be like, "What?" If you then showed them the data from the election counting releases that were coming in, your average person is probably going to be like, "Oh yeah." So I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying when it comes to these situations that are extremely political, it's proving something beyond a reasonable doubt. For me, I look at this and I'm like, how do you argue against that? What do you have to say? When they're like, oh, no, it was next to the table. No, it wasn't. It was normal ballot counting. Then why do we have 2 sworn affidavits from people saying they were told they had to leave and counting had stopped? Not only that, in Georgia, you know how they claimed a water main broke and they had to stop counting? Never happened.
What?
On election, I remember this. They were like, a water main broke in Georgia, so they're sending everybody home.
Really weird.
We also had a story where a guy apparently was a leaky toilet. That's it. Like, what does that have to do with it? Why can't you count votes because of a leaky toilet? There's another story where a guy said that in Georgia, they told everyone they had to leave because counting was done. They were like, no, we're not leaving. So they drove a forklift and blocked the view so they couldn't actually see what was going on.
Yeah, it doesn't help your cause when you're trying to block people from seeing what you're doing. And it doesn't help your cause when you have a record of stealing elections, just like the DNC did against Bernie Sanders. So I still, no matter what, have to give the benefit of the doubt until we have their side of the story, their version of events. I'm still waiting until these court proceedings happen. I want to see more. I want to see everything, and I want to hear the counter argument to what we're seeing right now because I think we definitely deserve
There's
it.
no
right
real
now.
argument right now.
Well,
they're just look. That's why I pulled up the fact check.
Yeah.
When they publish a quote where it's like they looked into it and it said it was nothing, I'm like, that's. Look, I get it.
That's not a response. I want that lady under oath explaining herself, what she was doing, and every little thing, described in detail because we deserve that.
Exactly. Coming out and saying, "Trust me."
Yeah.
No, I watched a video.
They're liars. They're liars. They cheated Bernie Sanders out of the election.
These are the Republicans. These are the Georgia Republicans. It's Raffensperger and it's Brian Kemp.
I'm talking about in larger picture in this whole election, what we're seeing happening here. There's definitely a lot of anomalies that don't make sense.
For sure, and I think it was wrong what happened to Bernie, especially in 2016 and now. But I do have to say, if you won't fight for yourself, why do you expect me to fight for you?
He took it. He bent over and he was like, yes, support Hillary, after everyone knew, including his own supporters who were just shocked Why is he doing this?
Bernie Sanders in 2016, the millionaires and the billionaires in this country are exploiting the working class.
And then he became
in 2020,
a millionaire.
In 2020, no. Outside of that, in 2020, he goes, the not the millionaires, the billionaires in this country are supporting Joe Biden. Vote for him.
When you say he got cheated out of the election, I know I've heard some stuff about what the DNC did to him.
When you look at Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the way that she was getting the electors during this election, you saw the rise in numbers. You saw there's a lot of different little tricks that were used, during the primaries that a lot of people directly point the finger at the DNC head, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which was she was fired. She essentially was ousted as the DNC chair and hired immediately afterwards for the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Yep.
And again, this is also the same person that looked at me and told me that there wasn't a deposition matrix.
Disposition
matrix. I keep messing it up.
Yeah.
But yet again, when you look at the
they were feeding
Bernie
questions
Sanders,
to the media so that Hillary had advantages in debates.
Right.
There are leaked emails where they were basically talking about how they were doing everything in their power to help Hillary Clinton.
And something about his Jewishness, right, in the leaked emails?
I don't know about
I don't remember any of that.
But we do
have
some more serious information, news pertaining to Georgia. So this is from just last night. President Trump's attorneys asked Georgia legislature to overturn election, select own electors. And they might do it.
How do you think this is going to play out? This is what I really wanted to kind of even ask
have no
you.
idea, man.
Where do we go from here?
There's some things that could happen.
Yeah.
For one, we get Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. If these three states, maybe Arizona, maybe Nevada, if their legislatures, which are controlled by Republicans, dispute the election and won't shut up about it, then by December, we're 4 days out. If they don't rectify this in 4 days, that's it.
Yeah, I don't see this
those votes.
well.
Those votes aren't going to count. Trump's going to win. I'm not saying he's probably going to win. I'm not saying he's likely to. But I'm saying if the legislatures dispute this, it doesn't matter what the governor say because the Constitution is clear that the legislatures decide. If the state legislatures issue a statement to the Supreme Court, to the federal government, saying here's what we think, or just send their own slate of electors without even coming into session, then you're going to have, Pennsylvania sends 40 electors instead of 20. And then what? Which ones do we count? I don't know. Democrats are going to be, we got to count the one that Joe Biden won. No, we dispute. You got to count the Trump ones.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.